Good evening. The Citizens Utility Board is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that advocates for Illinois utility consumers and works to promote clean and efficient energy. Tonight, our speaker is Joey Lee, and she is going to tell us about some of the programs and some of the, tips and tricks that come along with knowing everything about utilities in the state of Illinois. So with that, Joey, I'll hand it off to you. And just know that I'm kind of right behind the black wall. So if you have any questions or if you need me to field any of the chat, I'm happy to do so. All right. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Like Ashley said, my name is Joey Lee, and I am from the Citizens Utility Board. Let me share my screen really quick. Perfect. This is one I wish I could see um, you all, so I could ask if you can see that. But unless I hear anything, I'm going to presume.
We can see it.
Okay, perfect. We're going to be going over utility savings and talking about ComEd and NICOR bills. Again, my name is Joey Lee. Thank you so much for spending part of your Wednesday evening with me and kind of learning about energy efficiency. So before we get started, I just want to share a little bit about what we'll be talking about tonight. So I'll do a little bit more of an introduction to the Citizens Utility Board, or CUB. Then we'll go into kind of reading ComEd and NARCOR bills. And then we'll talk about demand response programs. So those are typically thought of as programs offered by utilities that will allow you to save money. Then we'll talk a little bit about community solar, also a cost-saving program, general energy efficiency. And since it is the winter, I do like to talk a little bit about disconnections. And then we'll talk additionally about financial assistance programs. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to drop them in the chat, but I will leave some space at the end for questions. So like Ashley said, the Citizens Utility Board is a nonprofit, nonpartisan group. We advocate for affordable and sustainable policies here in Illinois. So that kind of works in three main tenets. The first is going to be we represent utility ratepayers at the Illinois Commerce Commission, the Illinois General Assembly, and courts. If you were familiar with the rate hikes that the utilities around the state just partially got awarded. We were very involved in kind of that fight and advocating for consumers and consumer protection measures. We also operate a hotline that helps individuals. So if you ever have a question, if you're ever facing disconnection, or have another query, you can always give our hotline a call. We also have a website with a lot of fact sheets, a lot of information, and a little bit of research as well. So those are both on the screen if you want to take note of them. And then we do consumer education. So we do a lot of events like these, around 500 a year. We also operate something called a virtual utility bill clinic, which is when you email us your scanned bills. We can do phone, electricity, gas, maybe even a little bit of like a TV subscription. You can send those to us. You'll be paired with someone from CUB. We'll get on Zoom with you and we'll walk you through your bill, kind of help you understand where these line items are coming from. I know it can be a little confusing. We'll go into that really broadly today, but the virtual utility bill clinic is going to be a little bit more in depth. So first, we're going to go into how to read your ComEd bill, and then we'll talk a bit about NICOR. And I just want to walk you through when I look at a bill, what I'm looking at. First, I'll see that there are no, at the very top right, you'll be able to see that there's no overdue fees, which is obviously really great. If you are someone that has a larger overdue amount, we always encourage to pay people a little bit, to pay a little bit if you can, even if you can't cover the whole bill. That shows ComEd that you are like dedicated to paying this off, and you're far less likely to face like any kind of disconnection in that way. And then we'll look at the total usage chart. So this is the bar graph that you're seeing on the top left. And generally, we'll look for these seasonal trends. So electricity usage is largely going to be more in the summertime because you'll have your standard electricity like your lights, but then our air conditioning units are also powered by electricity. So when you see a little peak throughout the summer months, that's likely what you're seeing. And then when you might see another smaller peak um, in the winter months, largely because it's darker, people might have space heaters going, things like that. It's on right to the right of the bar graph, you'll see your kilowatt usage per hour, which can be really useful. And then you can compare it to last month and last year. So if your bill has suddenly skyrocketed and you look at it and you're like, it's a lot up from last month, and also compared to last year, that might be indicative of some changes that you've made in your home that have caused that to go up. But that might raise a red flag for me if I were to see that on a bill. Um, so at the bottom, you'll see this really beautiful pie chart, and it's split up into supply and delivery. So supply is who supplies um, your electricity and who is delivering that into your home. So ComEd will always deliver your electricity to your home, but you might have something called an alternative supplier, which means that you're buying electricity from some company other than ComEd. We'll go a little bit further into that later in the presentation and talk about if that might be a good option for you or not. But if you were to have an alternative supplier, this is where you would see that right under the supply section here. It says ComEd provides your energy. It would say blank company is providing your energy if you had an alternative supplier. Next, something that is important to kind of keep in mind and good to know is something called the price to compare. So that is ComEd's electricity supply rate. You know how earlier we just talked about how ComEd may or may not be supplying your electricity, but they're always delivering it. So the price to compare is going to be ComEd's rate. That's a good number to know because it will tell you if an alternative supplier, maybe you got a mailer in the mail, if that's a good deal or not. Um, it's a little bit confusing because on the bill, it's listed as cents. So it'll be here right now, presently, it's 6.872 cents per kilowatt hour. But then on your bill, on the left side, so under supply, you'll also see, um, oops. You'll also see a number here, and that is in dollar bill, is in dollar amounts. So it's a little bit confusing, but just move the decimal over. We all learned it in school. Um, and this rate changes twice a year. So from October till May, it's going to be 6.872. And then come the summer, they'll present a new rate to us. We don't know what that is so far, but that is all called the price to compare. And that's kind of important to keep in mind as we keep going. Okay, then we'll talk a little bit about NICOR bill. Alternative suppliers do exist for gas, but it's a lot more common to see them for electricity rather than gas. So if you had an alternative supplier, you would have an additional paragraph down here that says, so and so is the supplier of your gas. Here's how to get into contact with them. Um, Again, we have a very similar looking bar graph that will show you how much energy you're using per month. The main usage for gas is going to be heating, right? So it's obviously, as you can see here, it picks up in the winter. And then in the summer, like in the deep of the summer, July, August, you can see it's very little. That's probably from other gas appliances you might have in your home, like your gas stove. And again, you have price to compare. So, right, and in this example, it is 68 cents per therm. Right now, oh my God, this is an outdated number. Well, in November, it was 39 cents per therm. So the difference to note between your ComEd bill and your NICOR bill to keep in mind is that the NICOR rate changes month to month. Um, gas is a little bit more volatile of a market than electricity. So that price is going to change month to month. If you remember, during COVID, during the start of the war in Ukraine, those were times when we saw that spike change quite dramatically. But they have been quite stable this winter, so we've been lucky in that way. Okay, a little note about alternative suppliers. So there's two types of alternative suppliers. The first is going to be an alternative retail electric supplier. And the second is going to be an alternative retail gas supplier. Like I stated earlier, an electric supplier, alternative supplier is more common to see. Um, and traditionally, a utility charges you for the power you use and the cost of delivering it to your home. But you can choose another company to supply that power. Most of the time, um, COP recommends sticking with ComEd. That supply price is often going to be your lowest option because um, it is illegal for them to make a profit off of what they charge you, right? So ComEd does make a profit, but they largely make that profit off of delivery charges and not supply charges. Versus an alternative supplier, they can kind of charge literally whatever they want. So oftentimes when people get these mailers, it's not a great option. I get these sent to my home all the time. I'm sure that you have seen them. Clean Choice is one that kind of like seems to be targeting folks in this area, but there are plenty of examples. It might look like something ComEd sent you, or it might look very similar and very official. So make sure to look through your documents. Um, I don't even have paper billing from ComEd come to my house. I have everything electronically. So if I get a piece of letter of mail and it looks like it's ComEd, that's suspicious to me because I have paperless billing. So this is an example of how your bill might look if you had an alternative supplier. So this is again a ComEd bill. So here you can see next to supply, it says Clean Choice Energy, and you can see here that they are charging you 13.4 cents per kilowatt hour. But the ComEd supply rate at this time was 7.29 cents. So you can see that Clean Choice right now in this example is making a pretty good profit. Um, a lot of these alternative suppliers may have other incentives to get you to sign on. So Clean Choice Energy um, will claim that they provide 100% clean energy, and they will target kind of maybe the inclination you have to be more energy efficient or to be greener and cleaner and kinder to the environment, but they are still at the end of the day pulling their supply from the grid, and we're not able to verify that it is 100% clean. Okay, now we're going to go into energy efficiency. Um, bef When we talk about energy efficiency, I always like to mention that the cheapest and the cleanest energy is the energy that you simply don't use, right? So every dollar spent on energy efficiency is expected to save you $3 in energy costs. So there are things that you can do, big and small, right now in your home that are going to make your home more efficient and thereby lower your utility bills. So those are things like weatherizing your home, um, that might mean something a little bit more in depth. Maybe you need to update the insulation in your attic, or it could be as simple as if you have single pane windows, they do leak a lot of air. So you might get those plastic stickers to cover them, something like that. Using energy efficient lighting. Hopefully, all of us have switched over to LED lights at this point, but if we haven't, that's a really great way to save electricity. Reducing vampire power by unplugging appliances. So vampire power is the energy that your appliances use when they're not actively in use, but they're still plugged in. This is why we always encourage folks to take the plug out when you can. That's especially true if you're going on vacation or if you're going out of town, or if you have a room in your house that has things plugged in, but no one's really living there full time. That's something to consider. And then utilizing your programmable thermostat. That will help you save on your energy bills as well. Now we're going to go into our demand response programs. And the first one we're going to talk about is hourly pricing. I have the number for it on the screen right now if you wanted to take a little picture or a screenshot, but the website is also just hourlypricing.comed.com. You can just also Google hourly pricing ComEd. So although you and I pay a predetermined rate for electricity that changes twice a year, remember how we talked about how there's a price for the winter months and then a price for the summer months. So we'll see that change in the summer. But the actual cost of electricity that ComEd is paying changes hour to hour. So when you opt into this program, you are foregoing that predetermined rate and you're saying, I'll pay what ComEd pays every hour. So, hourly pricing allows you to manage your costs by running appliances like high ticket appliances while the price of electricity is lower. That's typically on nights and weekends, but as you'll see in the next slide, it's a little bit more complicated than that. This is really helpful for people and really beneficial for people who can heat their homes with electricity and have a lot of control over what time have control and flexibility over what time they're using the most of their energy. So this is what, if you sign up, even if you don't sign up, you can actually take a look at this. This is on the ComEd hourly pricing website. And if this is from October 24th. So at this point, I think the price to compare was 7 something cents or 6.8 cents, so almost 7 cents if we're rounding. And you can see there are times of the day where the price is significantly lower than that. So let's say I'm running a high ticket item, like let's say I have an EV and I were to charge and I'm on hourly pricing and I charge my EV at 2 in the morning. I'm probably paying 1 cent per kilowatt hour, it looks like approximately. And so I'd be able to save quite a lot of money that way. And the way that that money would come to me is in the form of a credit that ComEd would offer me on my bill. Um, as you can see, you can also earn back money, so not even pay for electricity. You could earn back money um, if the price per kilowatt hour ever drops below zero. So you can see here at 4 a.m., I'm not sure what you would be doing at that time, but let's say you work a weird schedule and you're like, oh, electricity is literally negative cents right now. Like I could earn some money by using my electricity because there's such low demand that ComEd will pay you to use your appliances and use electricity. So you could earn a credit on your account that way. Um, what we do have to be careful of is maybe like 12 to 1 p.m. So around lunchtime, and around 8 p.m., so around dinner time, the prices did spike. This wasn't too bad. ComEd will sort them by color for you very kindly. So this wasn't too bad. This is probably very close. The highest price this day was probably really close to the price to compare cost. Um, but as you'll see in this slide, there are days when demand is really high for whatever reason and the price skyrockets. So here you can see on October 9th at 6 p.m. and at 10 p.m., the cost was around 15 cents per kilowatt hour when the price to compare was $7 in this, or 7 cents, I'm sorry. In this case, you would actually be spending a lot of money if you were using high ticket electricity items at this time. So let's say you had a space heater going at this time, that would be incredibly costly. So this is the danger of this program. I do really like to encourage it for folks who want introduction, are committed to making demand response programs work and are ready to kind of like be on top of it and be on this website day to day and check the electricity prices throughout the day. But there is also a potential to lose money. So it is a high risk but high reward program. ComEd will also provide you at around 4 p.m. You'll be able to see their projections for the next day. So these aren't set in stone. So you can see that the bars are all gray. These are just projections they have for the next day. This is a program I recommend for literally everybody. It is a great introduction to demand response programs and is low reward, but has literally no risk. Again, the number is on the screen for you, and this website is comed.com/peak time PTS or peak time savings. So this is a program you sign up for. You can say, alert me. Sorry that, alert me through email, call me or text me. You can decide how they contact you. And ComEd will reach out to you a little bit before the event when they project a really high demand usage period. So they'll reach out to you here. In this example, they said, hey, on October 28th from 3 to 7, we're expecting a really large demand for electricity. So if you can lower your usage to what you typically use during that time, ComEd will give you a small credit on your bill. We're not talking as big of dollars as we were talking for hourly pricing. We're talking maybe $5, $10 off your bill, but hey, that still counts. And it's a great, like I said, it's a great introduction to demand response programs. And this is something that I recommend everybody signs up for. I'm signed up for it as well. Another cost saving program that is not offered directly through the utility, but will work with the utility is community solar. This is great for people who can't put solar on their homes for whatever reason. Maybe you live in an apartment, maybe you live in a highly shaded area, but you still are interested in renewable green energy and you're interested in saving a little bit of money. This would be a good program for you. I have a website link here. So when you get the slides tomorrow, you'll be able to click on it, but you could also just Google Citizens Utility Board community solar and the community solar. And we will have a little cheat sheet for you that compares, I believe there's 6 major companies in the area that provide community solar programs, and we'll compare them to each other. So you can kind of get an idea of which company you might be interested in if you are interested in this program. So what you would be doing is you'd be subscribing to a community solar project in your utility territory. So ours would be in ComEd territory. Um, so the owner of the community solar garden pays for the upfront cost to build, maintain the solar farm or solar garden and connect it to the utilities grid. But when you sign up for community solar, you're subscribing to a portion of that project's monthly output. So when you sign up for community solar, the company that you're working with will analyze your household's energy demand and determine your subscription size. So you'll be paying for like X number of kilowatt hours. And each month you'll pay your community solar provider for the amount of electricity generated by your subscription. That provider will then report back to ComEd and you'll get a small credit or a medium-sized credit on your bill equal to that output. So it is a little bit clunky at this point. You'll get 2 bills, which this is a little example to show you. There are a lot of advocates working right now to have these programs consolidated onto the main ComEd bill, but for the time being, it's 2 bills. So it was a little annoying, but hey, it's a really great way to save money. So here you can see without community solar, you owed $109. You paid your solar bill provider $40, and then you with the $10 discount, and then that discount goes over to your ComEd bill and you get a credit. So instead of paying 109, you'd be saving $10 and you would owe only 99. Again, not huge savings, but month to month that can add up. And it's also a great way to kind of get more involved in green and clean energy within your communities. Next, I want to talk about a great program that is completely free, and it is called the Home Energy Assessment. These are really great programs that I recommend because these are programs that we pay into, so it's great to take advantage of them. As a Nicor or a People's Gas or a ComEd customer, you're entitled to a free personalized energy assessment and the installation of energy saving program products. They do come with some freebies. And then there are other things that you can purchase at a pretty good discount. So the freebies are going to be a shower head, a faucet aerator, hot water pipe installations, and I believe like a basic programmable thermostat. They do also come with other goodies. So they'll come with these smart power strips, and they'll also come with smart thermostats. And you can buy them directly from the ComEd person that comes to your house at a pretty good discount. But what the home energy assessment is is the common technician will come, I guess not a technician, an assessor will come to your home, take not a very deep look, but a good look at your home, your windows, your doors, your heating and cooling systems, and they'll provide you with a report. So here it's telling us that the condition and age of the lighting is pretty efficient. So it looks like this person already had LED lighting. Um, they took a look at the water heater, and that was determined to be highly efficient. Took a look at the heating system, that looked pretty efficient as well. And here they'll tell you, oh, we looked at the age and condition of your cooling system, and it looks like there are energy improvements recommended. So you would be able to know, oh, in the next couple of years, I should be thinking about what it would look like for me to replace that system. And then here we're told that some things are efficient, but they're in yellow, so they're not highly efficient. And in this example, it was windows, doors, walls, and then the overall age and condition of appliances. So it will kind of give you an idea. This is also useful if you are kind of thinking of doing renovations in your home and you're not sure what to prioritize for energy efficiency. This would give me an idea, oh, updating the cooling system is going to be far more important to you than your water heater, for example. They'll also kind of give you a little memo about the work that they did in your home. So in this example, they installed 9 LED lights, they installed 2 water aerators, and some specialty LED lights, and they'll estimate those savings for you. So here the total estimated annual savings was $88. Lighting does take up quite a significant chunk of our ComEd bills, and so switching over to LED lights, if you haven't already, is a great way to make your home more efficient. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about disconnections. Right now, it is 28 degrees, so disconnections, residential gas and electric heat accounts, disconnections are not allowed. So let's go over a little bit of the circumstances in which disconnections would not be allowed. So for residential gas and electric heat accounts, anytime it's below 32 degrees or above 95 degrees, you cannot be disconnected, even if the circumstances and you're very behind on your bill and you've been notified that you would not be notified because it's not allowed during this time. If you are a LIHEAP customer, so that's a financial assistance program, during this time frame, disconnections are not allowed as well. There are certain times that disconnections are allowed. So if you fail to pay an entire past due bill or security deposit, after a warning, they would be able to disconnect you. This is why I said earlier, even if you can't pay your entire past due bill, it's a good idea to pay what you can. So that will show ComEd that you know that this is happening and show that your commitment to paying it off. If you default on your deferred payment arrangement or a DPA, or if you deny access to your meter. So those are all circumstances where disconnections would be allowed after a warning. There are some circumstances that disconnections can happen even with no warning, and those are no customer of record, which would be quite a unique circumstance, meter tampering, or if it posed a danger. So a dangerous condition such as a gas leak, they don't need to warn you, they're just able to come and disconnect you. I do want to talk about 2 financial assistance programs. First is going to be LIHEAP. This opens every fall around November, December, I believe, and it is a direct vendor payment that goes directly to your utility company. So if you apply for LIHEAP, it's a one-time payment available to utility customers at or below 200% of the federal poverty level. Looks like it opened December 1st for all others, and it's a one-time payment. So if you were awarded LIHEAP amount, they would send that money directly to your ComEd account. So you're not handling money anywhere in the process. And the second program is the Illinois Home Weatherization Assistance Program. So if you are eligible for LIHEAP, you're also eligible for the weatherization program. So it provides free customers with free weatherization services for their homes. And this is an open and running application, so you can apply at any time until funding runs out. This might be for things like getting efficient doors, um, getting new insulation, things like that. We do have a whole page on our website dedicated to financial resources if you're interested in learning more. Our hotline would also be a really great place to ask some questions if you're interested in learning more about any of these programs. Thank you so much for listening. That brings us to the end here. If you wanted to learn more about Cub, the work we're doing, or any of our other programming, I also give a lot of presentations about home decarbonization and electrification. I have colleagues that talk a lot about solar work. So if you're interested in any of those topics, please go to our website or give us a call. Again, our hotline number is on this page. And that is it from me. I see that we have one question.
Yeah, somebody was asking about does an induction range run on electricity or gas?
An induction range is going to run on electricity. So if you have an open fire where you're cooking, that is the only circumstance that you would be on gas. And everything else is going to be electricity. That's probably a good thing. We're starting to learn that there are some health consequences, especially for children with gas stoves. So you are definitely on the right path. It's going to be a lot more energy efficient as well.
Very good. So do you guys have offices? I guess kind of, I know in the past when we programmed with Cub, it's always remote. Are you guys based out of Chicago? Is it like the legislative, do you have offices in Springfield and Chicago?
Our main office is in Chicago, but we are still quite hybrid and we have folks throughout the state
That's
um,
that's great.
that work at Cub.
Wonderful. Well, it's always a pleasure working with you guys, and we appreciate the work that you're doing and think it's so wonderful. We have some people thanking you in the chat and the Q&A. So yeah, as I mentioned before, this program was recorded, and for those of you who are here live and you'd like to share the content out with your friends and family or your network, we're always, encouraging that. You can post and share as you see fit. And thank you to everyone that showed up tonight on this cold evening.
Thank you.
Stay warm, and thank you, Joey, for your information and your expertise on the topic. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for so much for hosting us.
Alrighty, bye-bye.